Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. We are here in the basement. I call this my broadcast center, I would say. It is so stinking cold outside. We got into the garage this afternoon when I came home from work, and I was just feeling like getting some stuff done. Tired of the Mustang sitting. And of course, we had all summer where we could not do much work with everything going on that we had this year. So I'm going to do something that will probably be helpful for some of you guys who are maybe installing your K-member, UPR K-member for the first time. First and foremost, this is the A-arm, and then there's a spacer that goes in the front and one that goes in the back. This is the front where the spray bar is on this one, so this will be the driver's side. So I'll turn it around that way, just pretending like I'm in the car, okay? Maybe it'll be easier for me to explain what we're going to do if I do driver's side stuff only. And I just knocked one of the several bushings on the floor. So you have spacers that go in between. And as you can see, one is taller than the other. The tall one goes toward the back. And as you will see, it will fit in there like that. Shorter one goes toward the front. It will fit in there like that. So what you have here are two different grades of bushings. Now the black ones are for street strip driving. At least that's what it says as far as UPR's recommendations. And these are for basically road racing and straight drag racing, because they're harder in nature and they're going to ride. You're going to feel a whole lot more ride harshness as far as you're already going to feel ride harshness because of the nature of these A-arms and the bushings. But these are harder. We're going to go with the more compliant ones, these. Now when you're putting these in, it does specify in other places that I've seen online to use white lithium grease only, not petroleum based type grease. That's my understanding. Now UPR was very good, and I'm pretty much sure this is the grease that they supply to go with it. I'm going to look at, and I had some that I've already purchased for something else. I'm just going to squirt a little bit of this out and see how alike or different. Now see, white lithium grease is white, and that's what I have heard needs to be installed on these bushings. So that's what I'm going to install. I'm going to install a white lithium grease. I'm not sure what kind of grease this is. I did go and try to look online to see. I don't know. So we're going to go with the white lithium grease. So we're going to end up installing one of these arms on the K-member because what I'm going to do, most people will install the K-member and then go back and install the A-arms on the K-member. I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to install my A-arms on the K-member, both sides, and then put it up under the car and just bolt it into place. But for tonight, I just thought we would run through one of these and show you what is necessary. It comes with all the hardware. Well, actually, I had to I believe, I can't remember because I did order 2 K members. I think my Team Z K member, I believe, came with the hardware. On this one, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, I asked for the upgraded new hardware because you don't want to use any of your old bolts. And when I show you guys one of the K member bolts that came out of that Mustang, you're going to be in shock and awe what it looks like. And I was shocked when I pulled that thing out. So let's go ahead and install these bushings. There's one on the front and one on the back. Before we install them, we're only going to grease up 4 of these because we're not doing all of them just for your viewing pleasure. So you're going to get that white lithium grease. I think, well, I'll just go with this. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. But I'm thinking maybe that polyurethane looking kind of grease that they have is for shoving these into the A-arms. Maybe it's a little bit slipperier. I don't know. But we're gonna grease these all up and shove them in. And the goal is to get the metal sleeve centered so that when you're trying to squeeze these A-arms in between those mounts on the K member, that they'll slide right in. I guess it'd be easier just to go ahead and put this on my finger to begin with and grease it all up. And we're also, when we go to slide those into the K member, we're going to grease the outside of these. What you don't want to have happen is after you've installed this and going down the road, you're hearing squeaking as you go over rough terrain. And if you don't use any kind of grease at all, I promise you that's what's going to happen, because the bearings, or these bushings I should say, are going to be dry. And one of my favorite items in the garage is the blue shop towel. You know, my wife comes into my garage and robs me of some of these sometimes because they're so absorbent. You can kind of wring them out and use them again. So this is the long and short of it. Short one toward the front. So what we're going to do is tilt this up. This is not the ideal work surface, and I normally would not do this, but it was nice and warm down here. Yeah, these just slide in. You want to bang them or anything. And then we're going to grease up the inside of that and slide the spacer in between. So now we got these in. Slide those in like that. What I'm going to do, the short one goes in the front. I'm just going to grease this whole thing. Actually, only about that much of it is, is really going to be affected. So we'll just grease both ends. And I'm being generous with the grease, If it's too much on there, it'll squirt out and you can wipe it off. But I'd rather have too much than not enough. Okay? It all comes together before the camera. Oh, let's try that. I was being so nice and neat. And now look at the mess that I've made. Alrighty. Okay, thank God for the blue towel. And we'll clean that up a little bit once we get it all banged in there. Now I'm gonna move this down toward the and my little rubber mallet has knocked that in. Now we'll do the other side. You know, people make this look so easy sometimes, but I'm not that guy. I'm not going to make it easy. I want to make it look hard so you guys are intimidated. No, not really. I'm not going to cut the camera and wipe everything off so it looks like I did it and I didn't get messy. I want you guys to see exactly what is involved, so when you do yours, you'll say, you know what? This is exactly what the other guy did, so I don't feel bad that I got grease everywhere. I think I put them in the right side. You'll know if you got them in the wrong end, because what will happen, more of the spacer will stick out than will fit through the mounting point on the actual K-member. So it's only one way to put it in. Well, you could put it in wrong, but it ain't gonna fit in the K-member if you do. Okay, get them started like so. Wipe some of this grease off. I got on old stuff, guys. Make sure you put on some old stuff like I do. I'm not even shaved for you guys. Tomorrow is Sunday and I'm gonna be shaved up when I get to church, but for tonight, we're just gonna be as we are. And I'm just tapping it with the rubber mallet. I'm gonna use, if I was in the garage, I'd sit it on the floor. But I have carpet down here and I don't want to get messed up. So just kind of tap both sides until you get both sides worked in. And it's going to slide back out the other side when you first do it. But eventually you're going to get it in, knock that spacer back through the other side so it's not protruding. So you'll be able to get it up on the K-member pretty easily. And we can always go back and wipe this off, but I'm just doing this so I won't be sliding around when I go to slide it into that K-member. Alrighty, so that A-arm is done. What we also have that comes with the kit, and I love the UPR kit because everything is nicely labeled. Every piece, every washer is in separate, you know, separate little Ziploc baggies. And also, even the grease fittings for the ball joints are included. I like to keep all this stuff bagged up until I'm going to use it. And I'm just going to install one so we'll have one complete A-arm done on this video, and I will let you know what size this is. You'll see it on the corner of this video. See what size nut, what size wrench to use on these ball joint grease fittings. All right, now comes the fun part. Now we know that we are sitting in the car the way that we're sitting right now. I'm looking at you. This is the front of the car, so this is the driver's side. We also know that this K-member is now sitting like it would sit in the car, just like this. So we know that the A-arm is going to go on this side. So I'm going to flip this up where you guys hopefully can see as I struggle. Now make sure you get it oriented right, because when you start doing all that flipping and stuff, you're like, okay, is that the top or the bottom? Yeah. So now we're going to slide this in. But before we try to slide it in, I need to, I balance that with my leg. I need to put some white lithium grease. What do we do with it? Out there in front of this? Oh, where is the lithium grease? All right, so what we're gonna do, so that it will slide between those mounts pretty easily. We're going to put some white lithium grease on the outside of these. And that's the main place that you really need to get it when you're installing these. Put it on the outside of these bushings. One, they're going to be way easier to slide in, and that's going to also keep them from squeaking. So make sure you put it on both sides, on the front one and the back one. Front A-arm mount and the back A-arm mount. Get plenty on there. Like I said, you can always wipe some off. And I can't even remember why I bought this white lithium grease. There was something else that told me don't use something, use white lithium grease. So we're being obedient. You know, sometimes we're hard-headed. Oh, I'm just going to use some petroleum grease. I said specifically not to use a petroleum-based grease. So I'm trying to be nice and do it the correct way, guys. So we know that this is the front of the car out here. The ball joint should be facing up. And now this should slide in here. Let's see. What the problem is, that bushing on this back one is sticking out. And it's keeping the keeping it from sliding on. It's getting hung on that. All right, let's try that. Boy, that hammer's greasy now too. We've made a mess. Let's try her again. This back one seems to want to slide in from the back. Yeah. Got it started. There we go. Come on now. Stop making me look bad. I'm going to have to speed the video up so it looks like I did this in nothing flat. Even though it's taking me an eternity. There we go. All right. Woo! Help me, Lord Jesus. All right. Now, we need our big washers. I should have got them out before I slid this in, but what I'm going to do is slide one of these bolts in so it'll hold it while I get the now you want the bolts to slide in from the front. So you want to push the bolt through from the front to the back on the front side, on the front part of the A-arm. And we're going to do the same thing on the back part of the A-arm. But before I do that, I need to get these washers out. So we're going to let this kind of sag just a little bit. Hopefully it'll stay somewhat where we need it. Should have got these washers out and test fitted them first, and I didn't. So for the sake of doing a video, I'm doing it wrong for you. So you want the bolt, put the washer on the bolt, slide it from the front to the back. There we go. That one's through. I still think it's easier. This is easier doing it off the car than it would be laying up under it trying to slide these on. Because all I'm doing is using a little bit of energy to do this, and I mean, it's not bad. So we got all the whatchamadoodles through. We got white lithium grease everywhere. So now we're going to put the lock. These are lock nuts, so you don't have to worry about having a lock washer or anything like that on them. Let me get my handy dandy blue towel, which is full of grease at this point. So stuff is just sliding all over the place. But it's okay. You can always come back and wipe stuff off. Like we said earlier, it's good to have more than enough grease than not enough. So now that we have this A-arm bolt, the A-arm bolts through, you're going to need a 24 millimeter deep socket and a 24 millimeter wrench. So I like to do it like this. Put this on the inside, then you can put the I'm trying my best not to break this glass table. A glass table is not a surface to be installing anything on. This is my broadcast booth. I don't do work down here, but for you guys. So we'll just tighten this up, and we're not going to tighten it up fully because I want to leave them so that they're loose, and then when I get them all the way on the car, then I will go back and torque them to the proper specs. But for right now, I just want to snug it up pretty tight. Not pretty tight, but you know, so that it's snug. I'll still be able to move the A-arm, but it'll be snug enough to put some pressure on it. As soon as you feel it take up the slack, that's where I'm going to stop, and we are there at this point. And there is a reason for putting these nuts and bolts on in this direction, because you wouldn't be able to get to it properly if you do it the other way. If you put the thingamabob on the inside, you won't have enough room to get it properly. To take it off if you have to. This makes it much easier if you put the bolts from the, push them in from the front to the back. We showed you that, so I don't need to tell you that. So let's just tighten this up. And this one is done. Okay, that's as tight as we're going to get it for today. Not torqued, but we will go back and torque everything once we get everything back under the car. So there you have it. One of the A-arms installed. The next time that we reconvene to video, we will be installing the entire kit and caboodle, as I say, because we got the A-arms, we got those 10-way adjustable strange struts. I love those things. I'm telling you, I had them on my other foxbody years and years ago. The foxbody you see sometimes as the videos are coming on and out, and they still make them and they're still working. Strange has been in the business a long time doing those drag struts. Now there are probably some out there, and some would argue that there are better brands out there or whatever, but hey, Strange has sold 1 million of those things, and it's a reason why they flat out work. Now, are they optimal for drag racing? I don't know. I don't drag race. You know, I go to the drag strip occasionally. If I was a die-hard race guy and I needed the very best, yeah, I'm sure there's some other brands out there that I might try. But for me, this is all that I need. All right. One more thing before we close this video, and I'm going to show you. Okay, so guys, supplied with the Master Bolt Kit are new bolts for, make sure I'm getting the right thing, new bolts for the actual mounting of the K-member to the frame. Here they are. Nice heavy duty pieces. Unfortunately, I think that they allow you to, they want you to use there's like nut certs that they're like clip bolts that go on the top, and these go up through. We'll see. I don't like using older bolts, but I don't think it's anything wrong with the ones that were on there, but We're going to clean those up if we have to use those. But here's what you need to see. This is one of the stock bolts right here that came out of the driver's side we're working on. Look at this. Can you all see that? The bolt, I don't know if it came from rust. I mean, well, it's rust. But I don't know if it came from battery acid or something dripping down on that. Can you see that? This is what this is supposed to look like. Now, this one looks pretty good. Look at this one. Look at that. That is what's holding the K-member. Now, the other bolt was in there. It was tight and all. And this one was tight. But look at it. See how it's deteriorated in the middle? It's like twisted, or this basically just came apart. And when you get up there and you look at the frame is not rusted. Now these bolts, I don't know what grade they are, or I don't know. I've never seen a bolt quite like that. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Keep on watching. The Notch Body Fox is underway. We are not going to give up. Still looking at our engine choices. I talked to one of the guys at FordStrokers.com, and he says, yes, we can accommodate you. We can get you what you need. Now, there's still a lead time on a lot of things. I talked to a couple of engine builders that said that if you're going to have a long block built, that it could be 8 or 9 months, depending on the parts that you get. One of the things that we'll address before we close this video, I had thought about doing a Windsor motor, which is the bigger brother to the 8.2 deck small block. But what you run into is header choices. Now, if I'm going to run the 351 Windsor, I would want to use the AFR 220 heads, for all you guys who are familiar with such things. But you run into a problem. Can you get headers to fit your foxbody Mustang? And yes, there used to be a lot of different manufacturers that made some of those things, but some of them have ceased to make some of the small block stuff for the simple fact that the Coyotes are so popular that they're cranking out Coyote swap headers fast and furious, and they've stopped making some of the more unique setups for 351 Windsor swaps into foxbody Mustang. So that being said, I'm pretty much locked into the 363 for the simple fact that there are way more headers available for the 8.2 deck that will fit my car, and the fact that I'm still trying to keep the weight light. Yeah, if I put the Windsor in, I could potentially get, I'm sure I could get 600 horsepower easy. The 363 is going to be more like somewhere between 510, 530. So, I mean, pretty easily. So for me, that little bit of horsepower gain, although 30, 40, 50 horsepower is not a little bit, it's, however, not a deal maker for me. The 363 is going to fit in there. The only person that knows it's a 363 will be anybody who listens to this channel. When you're looking at that 363, it looks just like a 302 as far as the size. It's more compact. It weighs less than a Windsor, and also we're not going to be just putting in a stock block engine. We're doing a Dart or a Ford Racing Boss block. So yeah, we'll be able to put the coals to it. It's going to be lightweight. The front end's now light. Yeah, so we'll see. We will be installing the entire K-member. It's going to be we're going to cut it down, probably do some time-lapse stuff, but we're going to put the entire K-member on. And hopefully, I'm going to go ahead and install that other A-arm off camera. And then when we get back in the garage, we're going to install the K-member, put on the new manual steering rack, and put on those 10-way adjust the strange struts, and also the coilovers that go on those shocks. Well, they're McPherson's, they're struts, coilover shocks, whatever you want to call them. We'll put those on. We also have brand new caster camber plates. What I am doing, and I've had to heat up the garage to do so, I have also painted all of those surfaces where these things will mount. They were in good shape. There was no rust, but I went ahead and scuffed them up and painted them. Added some new Rust-Oleum primer to those areas, so it'll be more protected than it already is. So, see you on the next one. God bless you. God loves you, and so do I.